I'm Howie Lim. This is Money Hacks by the Business Times. The mid-year holidays are upon us. If you haven't booked your vacation, well, no lah, there's still time to get the best deals or maximize value and even the experience. I hope. Welcome to Money Hacks, a podcast series by the Business Times, where we explore useful financial tips to help you on your money managing and wealth growing journey. I'm Howie Lim. And if you have feedback or an idea for a podcast episode, do get in touch, btpodcasts@sph.com.sg. And helping us out today, Cyndi Hui, travel search engine Skyscanner's travel trends and destination expert. Hi, Cyndi.
Thank you for having me here today, Howie.
I'm surprised global tensions and economic turmoil haven't put a dampener on Singaporeans' wanderlust. They really haven't, have they? The strong desire to gallivant, the travel bug, etc., etc.
So from what we are seeing is that Singapore outbound, so traveling overseas from Singapore, remain really resilient. Thanks to the strong SGD, as well as just real desire to venture out beyond the little red dot to explore the world. Even in the current environment with economic uncertainties, our data is suggesting that 93% of Singapore travelers are looking to travel more, if not the same, in the summer. Over 50% of travelers are looking to maximize summer holidays because they want to experience more in terms of both destinations as well as activities that they can do when they are overseas. And they're becoming a lot more intentional when it comes to planning their holidays, looking to maximize every aspect of it. And the three ways that they are maximizing the holiday are, broadly speaking, the budget, flexibility in terms of travel dates, and also potentially, crossing over the shoulder season, which is not as peak as you mentioned in June, and also looking at exploring new destinations and having richer and different experiences as well. So they're becoming more value conscious and intentional as it comes to trip planning.
Even more value conscious than last year? Your survey is saying that more than 90% of Singaporeans want to take the same or more holidays this year.
Travelers are always on the lookout for bargain, especially Singapore travelers have always been value conscious. So with Skyscanner, we are here to really help. We are the travel ally of Singapore travelers to be able to help them to hunt for these bargains and find them really easily. We also conduct regular research to understand some of the trends. So 50% of them are already using price comparison sites. We search over 100 billion prices a day, and we consolidate the prices of more than 1,200 partners, whether they are hotels, flights providers, as well as car hire providers, in order to show the best prices to our travelers so that they can stretch every dollar of their budget. On the part about flexibility, what we're finding is that 80% of Singapore travelers are already flexible in moving their travel dates by a few days or even by up to weeks. So we've got some tools to help them if that's what they're looking for. The cheapest month search to allow travelers to find the cheapest month to travel. And within that month, we also have the cheapest day to travel where they can actually book a specific date that might suit their budget. And the third piece is around the destination choices. We're finding that increasingly Singaporeans are open to traveling to lesser known destinations. In fact, close to about 80% of them are open to booking a holiday in a lesser known destination that may be not as popular or less traveled. Usually cheaper as well. We have a tool called Everywhere Search, where the traveler can have a date in mind that they want to travel, but they might not know where exactly they want to go. So they can put in the dates and put Everywhere Search, and the results will be sorted based on deals that are available.
Might cause some options paralysis, I feel. I'm sure it's easy to use and good information comes out of it, right?
Some really good prices. Personally, I've just used Everywhere Search to plan my next holiday at the end of June. And when I did a search, I realized that a lot of Southeast Asia destinations are actually quite cheap to travel during end June, probably because that's already the end of the holiday season. And also a lot of beach destinations are quite cheap. Some of them are having the monsoon season as well. But for me, that really didn't bother me because, I'm planning a holiday with my parents. We're not going to do water sports. So we've decided to book a holiday in Phu Quoc, which is an island in Vietnam. It's a beach destination, but there are a lot of other things to do, not only water sports. And our plan is to do water sports if it doesn't rain, but if it rains, we can always do something indoor, go to a theme park, watch a show, or even go to a spa. So with these trends that we're seeing, Singaporean travelers are becoming much more intentional and value conscious in order to maximize the holiday.
Unfortunately, some things can't change for certain travelers, I feel, especially the ones who are parents. The only time they can really take their kids on vacation is June. So that kind of limits their ability to capitalize on off-peak and cheaper times to travel. What else can they do?
A lot of people do have that problem. They've got school-going kids and they can't be too flexible. The advice I have for this group of people would be to avoid the peak travel season and to try to book as early and plan as early as possible. But sometimes, you might plan early, but you can't lock in your plan. So what I would advise is to download the app and sign up for price alerts for the flight that you're looking for. Because as soon as there is a price change, whether it goes up or down, we will notify you if you have signed up for price alert. So that will allow you to take action if the price is discounted. Also, flexibility. So that's really important when it comes to trying to save costs. Even if you have a fixed destination in mind, for example, you might want to take the kids to Disneyland in Shanghai. One way that you can really save costs is to consider a stopover, taking an indirect flight, and even potentially adding multiple destinations in one trip as well. Because flight prices are very dynamic and it depends on supply and demand. But if you look around and if you are flexible enough to consider an indirect flight, a lot of the times you will be able to find really good deals.
Still to come, what about more affluent travelers who maybe worry less about cost but still want to maximize their, larger budgets? And what are the trends for year-end, which could help you decide what to do come December? More with Cyndi Hui from Skyscanner in a moment.
Lens on Singapore is now bigger and better. The same deep dive exploration of socioeconomic and geopolitical issues which impact our lives here in Singapore and the region is now a video podcast. If watching a conversation is your thing, join Claressa Monteiro in monthly conversations about things that matter. Subscribe to the BT Lens On playlist in the podcast tab of the Business Times YouTube channel and start watching today. BT Lens On Singapore, now available in audio and video.
And now, back to Money Hacks from the Business Times.
Welcome back. So Cyndi, talk to us about the affluent traveler. Are they caught up in this maximizing value thing as well?
Even for affluent travelers, although it's a lot less about cost savings, but it's probably more about maximizing value. Even if you have a generous budget, you might want to get the most out of that budget that you have by prioritizing what kind of experiences are most important to you when you are on your holiday. We encourage these travelers to plan their trip really well so that they can enjoy more Luxe for less. And some of the ways that still apply flexibility on travel dates, for example, because if this group of travelers are traveling during the shoulder season or they're shifting their travel dates and be able to save a lot of money from there, they can either spend that money on a flight or a hotel upgrade, or even if they are overseas and they want to explore the Michelin star restaurants in the destinations that they're at. So it's not fixated to spending all your budget in flights or hotel.
So more about the actual holiday than just how you get there. What about alternative destinations? Are affluent travelers looking into that too?
When it comes to alternative destination, it also applies to premium travelers because having a really luxury holiday, traveling premium cabin, and staying in a 5-star hotel will cost much more in a really popular destination. So, for example, going to Europe, if travelers planning luxurious holiday in Europe, they might consider going to Paris and London, but that's very expensive to stay in a 5-star hotel. So some really good alternatives would be Slovenia or Georgia, where you can really experience luxury for a lot less. Also, travel and stay away from the really central areas. So by staying in areas slightly further away from where the action is and where the attractions are, firstly, you might be able to find luxury hotels for a lot lower, but also you're able to spend that extra money that you saved on renting a car. By having a car, you have a lot more freedom and privacy to explore at your own pace. And that's a really nice and leisurely way to explore a new city. also offer car hire on our platform. So travelers can use our platform to filter their requirements. For example, in Singapore, we typically drive with automatic cars. So that might be one of the filters that you would apply. And a lot of us are also conscious about sustainability. So choosing low emission car type might be one of the criteria that we choose to filter when we decide on which car hire and which car type do we want to book.
Oh, that's handy. I'm really liking the sound of this alternative destination thingy. It may not be something people consider because they know what they like and they know what they want.
Of course, we all know that, one of the all-time favorite destination for Singapore travelers is Bali. The cheapest day to travel, though, is Tuesday, which a lot of people might not know. And there are prices starting from $186 in the period of June and August travel period. What's really interesting is on the cheapest alternative list, what came in the top is Labuan Bajo.
Oh, so Indonesia too, Labuan Bajo.
It's considered a pretty good alternative to Bali, actually, probably offering a much more peaceful and quieter retreat. And prices there starts from $149. It's a really good alternative to Bali. And coincidentally, I actually use Savvy Search to look for a destination that I can go as an alternative to Bali because I have been to Bali a number of times. So when I type alternative to Bali, best for snorkeling, relaxation, and viewing wildlife in Southeast Asia, Labuan Bajo actually came up Komodo Island. And when I took the trip back in early March, I didn't really have a lot of expectations because other than knowing that there's Komodo dragon there, I didn't know how the water would be like, what kind of marine life am I able to see. But to my surprise, I actually had a really good experience. And some of the highlights of my life from that trip, including, seeing Komodo dragons in their natural habitat, seeing this really tiny island with just a small area of sandbag that emerged during low tide and completely disappeared during high tide. And just seeing the island disappearing in front of my eyes was pretty cool. Swimming with majestic manta rays. This is something that you can do in Bali. I highly doubt that it will be just our own group and no one else. The whole ocean and the manta rays, it was just, me and my group rather than any other tourists. So that was a really rewarding experience to actually look for a lesser known and alternative destination. And also, I managed to save a lot compared to the most popular destination as well. So the more flexible and open travelers are in terms of the destination choices and dates, the more bargain you are going to be able to get and potentially pleasantly surprised with what there is to offer as well.
And travel trends you're seeing which might help us when we plan for December, Cyndi?
Some of the more relevant ones for December vacation would be the astral-themed travel, whether it's experiencing Northern Lights in Europe, in places like Iceland, Norway, and Finland, and December is a really prime time to do that. Or stargazing are some of the really popular activities for the astral-themed travelers. Another one is sports. Sports has become increasingly popular where travelers do go overseas for, whether it is to watch or to participate in a sports. And during wintertime, of course, snowboarding and skiing season, these are the really popular activities that travelers would go overseas for. The third one is something quite interesting, is actually exploring a bit more of the rugged countryside, experience in ranch stay or farm stay, dining around a campfire, or even, trying interesting activities like horse trekking. We actually have this filter in our hotel's product where you can select horse riding as a criteria where the resort or the hotel do offer these activities. So for people who are into the countryside and wanting to do horse riding can actually use that function. And then the next one is visiting art galleries and immersive art galleries. This is popular all year round because it's typically indoor and, it's good for all seasons. What we're finding is that travelers really enjoy these activities because it's something that they can share on social media and share with like-minded people. And then, of course, at the end of the year, it's a really good time to reset and think about taking a break and recharging both mentally and physically, getting ready for a new year. So we do expect travelers taking this opportunity to go on wellness retreat as well, like, for example, to Bali or Maldives for yoga retreats, to be able to reconnect with their inner self, building resilience and longevity as well.
Takeaway order Money Hacks 222 is ready. Think outside the box when it comes to your vacation. Do you want the experience more than the journey? What about not tourism or wellness tourism? Sky's the limit, really. A big thank you to Cyndi Hui, travel search engine Skyscanner's travel trends and destination expert.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm Howie Lim, and this has been Money Hacks by the Business Times.
This is a podcast by the Business Times. Find more BT podcasts at businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is meant to provide general information only. SPH Media accepts no liability for loss arising from any reliance on the podcast or use of third parties' products and services. Please consult professional advisors for independent advice.